Way 31 spent the day sifting through a scathing report about Alabama's prison system. And the deeper we dig, the more issues we find highlighted by the Department of Justice. The issues include extortion, sexual abuse, and covering up or not reporting murders. It also included overcrowding, drug abuse, weapons, and violating the constitutional rights of inmates. The federal government called the Alabama Department of Corrections a broken system. Way 31's Brecken Terry is live at the federal courthouse in downtown Florence. She spent the day asking what this means for the state and its 16,000 male prisoners. Brecken.
According to this investigation into the Alabama prison system, the state is violating some 16,000 male inmates' constitutional rights by putting them and correctional officers in dangerous conditions. Now, just take a look at this graphic here from the Department of Justice's investigation. It shows how prisoner-on-prisoner violence has risen over the years. The DOJ even said the state is not accurately reporting prisoner homicides. From 2015 to 2018, there were a total of 24 inmate homicides, according to the Alabama Department of Corrections. But the DOJ's investigation said there are numerous incidences where the ADOC incident reports classified deaths as due to natural causes, when in actuality, the deaths were likely caused by prisoner-on-prisoner violence. This is especially concerning, given that these incident reports are used for public statistical reporting as required by law. Now, the report goes on to talk about the number of inmates who are raped and how correctional officers do nothing about it. I reached out to U.S. Attorney Jade Town, whose office is in control of this investigation. He believes that the state will fix these problems.
Very troubling. The issues we identified, they're very troubling, but they're also systemic. They've been inherited by this leadership. They're decades old. I have personally great confidence in the leadership of this state that we can resolve these issues fairly and fundamentally.
Now, Town also told me that prior to this report being released, the state of Alabama was already making strides to fix some of their problems. The state has exactly 49 days to make these corrections. If it doesn't, the United States Attorney General can hit the state of Alabama with a lawsuit, and then the federal government will have to come in and fix Alabama's problems. Live in Florence, Brecken Terry, Way 31 News.
All right, thank you, Brecken. And Governor Kay Ivey said in a statement that her office is already working to fix many of the problems. And she says that we are working closely with the Department of Justice. The goal is to make sure that this Alabama problem has an Alabama solution.
According to the Department of Justice, Alabama's prison homicide rate is nearly 8 times the national average.
So here's how the DOJ came to that conclusion. In 2014, the national average homicide rate in prisons was 7 per 100,000 prisoners. According to 2017 numbers, there were 9 reported homicides in Alabama's men prisons. Those facilities house 16,000 prisoners, and that makes the homicide rate 56 per 100,000 prisoners. That is about 8 times the national rate. The DOJ also suspects the numbers are underreported, so they believe things are even higher. So with this in mind, we did some digging to find the latest homicide Doc reported to the media. Now, according to our stored archives, it was less than a month ago. On March 16th, we were informed of 2 homicide investigations in the Bibb County Correctional Facility. A spokesman said that Ray Little and Quentin Few were stabbed to death within the same week. In response, a correctional emergency response team was dispatched to the facility. It was placed on lockdown during that investigation. Well, homicide is not the only issue in Alabama prisons. Incident reports often list the cause of overdose deaths as natural.
Yeah, even though inmate autopsies later reveal the cause of death, the report says the Alabama Department of Corrections, quote, does not centrally collect or track these autopsies and is thus unable to distinguish overdose deaths from non-homicide deaths. That means they cannot fully understand the deadly effects of dangerous contraband within the system.